Ankan Ma'at, we're back. Hopefully that should be clear. It looks very clear on my end. Well, very clear. I don't know if it's very clear, but it is clearer. We had to reboot. We hadn't done a reboot to the network adapter in quite some time. So we're hoping that it is clear. As you come back, I'm hoping that you'll let us know if you can clearly see us. And once again, let me welcome you to Kemetic Ascension for October 10th, 2021. We're so pleased that we're here with you. We know that there are other things that you could be doing with your Sunday, and we're absolutely honored that you're here for the gathering brought to you by the Shrine of Ma'at. Please let us know if we are clear. Yes, Sanet Fafanta and Jason Holmes say that they're clear. Virgo Venom is in there already. Tracy is in there because she knows that I'm going to ask. I am going to see Sanet. Tracy, I'm going to ask you to give us a Kemetic shout out. What does that mean? I'm asking for you to let us know where you are in the world and how long you have been part of Kemetic Ascension. By the way, if you are a fully initiated member of the Shrine of Ma'at, you should go ahead and let us know that as well, because I see so many of you in there. Who am I seeing? I'm seeing, I saw Sanet Fafanta. I see Sanet Olivia. I see Sen Jehuti Mess. He's also a fully initiated member. I'm seeing so many of you, and I'm pleased to see you, even if only virtually, because we're still in the middle of this challenging pandemic. But I'm so happy to at least see you online. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please go ahead and let us know where you are. And we would love to be able to give you a shout out and let us know how far and wide we are reaching. As I said before, we're a Harlem-based shrine that really is much more than Harlem. I mean, clearly we have members all over the world. And so in some ways, while the shrine itself is here in Harlem, we are so much further abroad, aren't we? Mm-hmm. So please let us know where you're at. Anika, do you have anyone?
Oh, we have plenty. I see that Malik Colbert's in the house from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Go ahead, Ankan Ma'at.
I'm still stalking you on Facebook and looking at your desserts. Just so you know. We have Andre Bryant, South Jersey.
Wonderful.
We have Trinity Bailey, says visiting ATL this weekend, although from Los Angeles. If you're in town until the 23rd, Jabari is having a tour there in Atlanta.
Yes.
What's the name?
The Carlos Museum.
Carlos Museum.
Yes, the Carlos Museum. That's on the campus of the University of Emory University. Mm-hmm. I will actually be there doing a tour and also a panel. I'll say more about that in a few moments, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I think you had mentioned Sanet Olivia, one of our shrine members.
Yes.
Here, and Jehuti Mes OG the fourth. We have Heru Asar Ankh Amun Ra.
Yes.
Welcome. Sanet Cheryl out in the DMV representing.
Always here with us, Ankan Ma'at.
Jonte Lee, haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you back. We have Matthew Daniels, also known as the Chosen Few, out in Texas City,
Wonderful,
Texas.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Jonathan is in the house.
Texas is the furthest away so far, by the way.
Yes. So we have Jason Holmes from Lincoln, Nebraska. I think Texas is still further away.
Still further away, right? Ankan Ma'at to you, Sen Jason.
Jehuti Ma'at Ra repping Ontario, Canada. How you doing?
Go ahead.
Fully initiated.
I mean, it's another country, but I still think it might be faster for us to get to Ontario than it is for us to get to Texas. Ankan Ma'at, a member of the family, fully initiated member of the family. Hope you're holding down Ontario, Canada.
We have Vonda from Greenfield, South Carolina.
Ankan Ma'at.
We have Larry Everett out in Orlando, Florida.
Ankan Ma'at.
Yes, Andre Bryant says he plans to do the tour in Philly, which is the following weekend.
Yes, October 30th.
Yes, so that would be the Penn Museum.
Yes. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there too.
Jonathan is from Pittsburgh, PA.
Wonderful.
We have Stuart Hastings from East London. I think that's the furthest away.
Yeah, there we go. East London. There we go. There we go.
Sinette Fafanta out in Hyattsville, Maryland.
Ankin Ma'at, a full member.
Shout out to Rakasha Shen.
Rakasha Shen in the house.
And Olivia wants to Kepper Rama'at. We have Magnificent Trinity from Atlanta.
Ankin Ma'at.
Okay, so Atlanta, we should see you at the tour next week.
Yes.
2 weeks from now, right?
2 weeks from now, 23rd. October 23rd.
Chant Kheper is in Brooklyn. Yes, Brooklyn.
Wonderful. VK in the house. Anika's home.
One of our students.
She still says they're home, even though she's been in Harlem longer.
Always Brooklyn, sorry. So we have Anthony from Charlotte, North Carolina. Sinette Lucille Scott, who traveled with us this summer.
Ankin Ma'at, Sinette Lucille, is good to hear from you in the BX.
Sen Lee McCoy, again, hearts are with you, hope all is well.
Yes.
He's in the house.
We're thinking about you, Sen Lee. I know that you've had some challenges recently, although I know you are a strong brother and full member of the shrine. So please let us know how you're doing, okay?
We have Anouk Tehuti Hetep out in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Go ahead.
Another member. Here's the Hemsadu in the house, Lisa Van. How
Lisa
are you?
Van, how are you? Ankin Ma'at out in Arizona.
Yep. And there's some girl named Yoga Sai. It was a Yoga Girl Sai out in Connecticut. You know?
I don't know who that is.
A
boots a shot.
Rapid Connecticut.
One of the leaders of a member of the Hemsanu and one of the leaders of the Shrine of Ma'at.
And we have Hotep from Kitchener, Canada. Was it Kele Sarah?
Ankin Ma'at.
How is it so difficult to reach us by phone? Because it's two of us and we have thousands of calls.
Yeah.
So
please fix your contact problem. Did you try to reach us by phone?
Yeah, we don't have a shrine number. We have our cell numbers. So
but if you did try, now let me say this. Shoot me an email to Jed, D-J-E-D, D-J-E-D, D as in divine, J as in Jabari. I never used these letters before. E as in equinox and D as in divine at shrineofma'at.org. Shoot me a message. If you really want to speak to us by phone, shoot me an email and I'll respond with my cell number. The best way to reach me, if you already have my cell number, is via text. Sometimes people call me and I don't recognize the number. Do you know how many strange calls I get? Mm-hmm. So I usually just answer the ones that someone has told me they're going to call me via text, or I recognize the number, or I just wait for them to leave a message. So that's how it happens. So if you've been trying to reach us and not getting us, please let us know.
Yeah, but we ask that you do be patient. It's very difficult. We get a lot.
We have a lot of folks. Yeah. And Dwa boots a shot for putting up the email as well.
Yes.
Okay. You did too. Everybody put that email.
Notice
Anika didn't put up her email. She said, "Go ahead, email him." Listen, she is. I'm teasing her. She certainly speaks to people more than I do. And so it's really, really there. For those who don't know, I'm a fully initiated member of the Shrine of Ma'at, been in Shrine since December 2015. Really, to be fair, Sen Jehuti Mes was with us. I think I met Sen Jehuti Mes right after I was initiated into the Shrine of Ptah. So we've known him for a really long time. And yes, he's a member of the Hemsanu. And he's been part of the shrine since the beginning. He was there.
Brother.
He was there. He was there before we went live. I remember talking to him about going live on Facebook. That's how long it's been. Some of you in the Hemsanu remember that we didn't do this on Facebook and YouTube. It was just in here. And I remember speaking to members of the Hemsanu. By the way, some of the members of the Hemsanu were not pleased with the idea of doing this online. And it felt to me like we needed to, because we had gotten an email from someone from Denmark. Do you remember that, Anika? Mm-hmm. And the English was really difficult to read. And Anika kept saying, "Is this a child? Is this?" I said, "Maybe they speak another language." And then finally he said, "I'm in Denmark. Could you please do this online?" And we said, "We don't do it online." And he said, I'm so disappointed. There is no one here like me. And when he said that, it became clear to me that we had to reach further. It was that, I mean, he was crestfallen. You know what I mean? I'm so disappointed. There's no one here like me. I want to connect to you. Is it just because I don't live in New York that I can't be part of this? That's what he said. And so that's how we went online. And said Jehuti Mess, I spoke to you about that conversation. And you know what Said Jehuti Mess said? Look what he said. Wow. I remember you were sitting like right here. Wow is what he said. So anyway, he's been with us for a really long time.
I see we have a lot of people out in Texas. So
Texas has a lot of folks.
Hirosar, Amaraz, in Dallas. So the people in Texas need to communicate with each other.
Yeah, folks,
see if y'all can try to help us start something out there.
We are really beginning to seriously put down some roots in other places. I might have mentioned in our last Kemetic Ascension that the first place that we're really planning to go and put down some roots is in Phoenix, Arizona. You're going to see a celebration coming forward for the newly named Jati. Jati is the sort of like the prime minister. He's the convener in Phoenix, Arizona. We got Texas on the brain. Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm talking about, you'll probably see him in here. He's usually here with his family, with his son. I'm talking about, he's known as Sen Tehuti Forever, because he has a page called Tehuti Forever, or Sen William Humphrey. And he's being elevated to the level of Jati. He's going to be the convener, the person that puts together the Shrine of Ma'at in Phoenix, Arizona. So Anika is mentioning that we have these kind of nodes of people that are in areas, and really those are the areas that we should be expanding in many ways to extend the legacy, because we want to reach the world and have people like you in the areas where you are working together. So
I want to give a quick shout out to those making donations right now. Twa'u, to Tracy Walker, to Bryson, and to Anjay Bryant. We appreciate your donations. Twa'u. We are so appreciative of that. And anyone else who would like to also bless us with donations, I'll put that information on the screen. So, always feel free. You can reach us through Cash App, PayPal, or Stars on Facebook. So please do so. We appreciate all of you for just being here, and we appreciate anyone who makes donations. And shout out to another traveler that went with us this summer. Tresh is here, another Texas person, Houston.
Yeah, Texas is in that. Now I know Texas is large. It's a really big state, but
let's see, Tracy Robinson, Anka Ma'at.
Anka Ma'at.
We have Dion a newbie from Walden, New York. Welcome.
Wonderful. Walden. Don't I know Walden, New York? I think it's right outside of New York City. Where is Walden, New York again, please?
Yes.
I don't think it's far outside of New York City.
We have Mitchell from Boston, Massachusetts.
Anka Ma'at.
We have Lou Ra. Good to see you. And he's from Chicago. You're out there with
listen,
Brother Yasir.
Likely the second place that we're going to branch out into is Chicago with Yasir Rahotep, who is our brother. We've been close to him for 20 years. And he has been part of the Kemetic tradition for longer than we have. He has not been connected to a shrine. He is now. Very soon, he will be announced as someone who is personnel, who is one of the leaders of the Shrine of Ma'at as well. So we're doing a lot of work. Can you tell? So.
So that Tanya Smiley, another initiate. Good to see you. Welcome.
Anka Ma'at.
Let's see, we have Ajamu Tayimba. Good to see you again.
Anka Ma'at.
Glad to have you here. Donna Jones from Carrboro, North Carolina, with us for 2 weeks now. Welcome.
Yeah, Walden is upstate about an hour from New York. Yeah, I think I remember. I knew someone in Walden. Don't we have a priest, not from the Shrine of Ma'at, but a priest coming out of the Shrine of Ptah that's in Walden? I think we do. Abu Eric Asarian, I think, is in Walden.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a connection.
Yeah, I think he's in Walden. Good solid priest, a good solid brother.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And Twa'u to Sinet Abigail for your donation. We truly appreciate you.
Anka Ma'at.
Twa'u to M. I know he normally just sends us donations.
Sen M.
Yes.
Sen M is one of the full initiated members. Someone that we've known for a long time, traveled to Kemet with us. Ankh and Ma'at, it's good to hear that you're still alive and kicking over there.
And I just want to give a shout out to the Chafers again. I'm not sure if they're on today, but with all the support they've given us trying to help us with our Hesi game. We haven't released their songs yet, but we're trying to find the best way to bring it out to the community. We don't kind of just want to rush and throw it out there, but we want to just show our appreciation and tell them that we admire them and that they've done some great work for us.
The Chafers, that incredible couple coming out of Ghana, believe it or not, because the Shrine Ma'at is going to be heavy in Ghana in a minute. They will actually take a Hesi from our gathering and professionally master it, and it always sounds amazing. So we have to say dua to them as well.
Oh, and I see Sanjetti is in the house.
Sanjetti.
Congratulations on
your Heb Smai Tawi. Yes.
Together with Ka'eka.
A powerful Kemetic couple. We've known them both for a long time. Sanet Ka'eka traveled to Kemet with us. We've known Sen Sanjetti for a really long time. Connected with him through the African Genesis Institute first, I believe. Really solid family. They have their daughter, and it's wonderful that they are now officially. It's hard to even say they're officially Kemetic couple because everybody knew they were a Kemetic couple for years. So but it's good that the community came to celebrate you and to recognize that you are building together. And so congratulations, dear brother. And also a fraternity member of mine too. So 06.
I knew you were gonna throw that in.
Did you know I was gonna throw that in?
I was waiting.
Oh my goodness.
It's coming.
Oh goodness.
And I see that Oye is in the house.
I'm getting my aunt out of Philly.
I think she was on before when we had to reconnect.
Oh yeah. Also as Cassie Shep. You might see her name is Cassie Shep there. And Sanet Oye is one of the full members.
Gives you the 06 back.
06 back. Go ahead, brother.
There's nobody to oop to for me.
No, don't be mad. Don't be mad.
Whatever. Oh my goodness.
So
I think that's everyone.
Yeah, I think that's everyone, right?
Yeah. Dion, please email Jed directly and he'll give you the contact for the person in your area. We just have to try to reach out and find that information.
Oh, that's the person in Walden, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll connect you. You're coming to us on Facebook too, so definitely, I think on Facebook, right? Definitely, we'll reach out. Yeah, definitely. I know that I'm connected to him. I have his number somewhere, but I know I'm connected to him on Facebook, so we'll connect the two of you. Sure. Definitely.
Ooh, okay, I see Donna Jones is here.
Good
to see you. Hazel Adams is here. And Sanet Newt, known as Michelle Mendez.
Uncle Ma'at. We were all together in Kemet this year, which was amazing. Uncle Ma'at.
We have Constance out in Charleston, West Virginia.
I don't think I've heard of Charleston, West Virginia. Uncle Ma'at. Cool. How long have you been part of this? Anyway. Hopefully you can let us know that's Sanet Constant.
Yosef Yakub says that you helped him do some family stuff.
Really?
And prayed and anointed him.
Oh, wonderful. I'm hoping that helped you. I really hope that helped you, Sen Yosef, really.
We have Virgo Bliss out in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Uncle Ma'at, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Gee, New Spring. How you doing?
You sent an email? To who? Well, send it to jed@shrineofma'at.org. I'm not sure who you emailed. Listen, the challenge that we have is that we obviously, that we're all over the place, right? We're all over the place. And so people send us messages to all over the place. Sometimes people send us a message just saying, I want to know more about the legacy, reach me. Those folks don't usually get a response very quickly because it's very broad. And the best way to find out about the tradition is to come to Kemetic Ascension and perhaps to be initiated. So we have to do better with trying to get to people. When you ask us something in particular, usually you get a response faster. But we're working on it. That we are building personnel. For such a long time, it was just Anika and myself. That's it.
I think what's also interesting, people, I'm not sure people are aware, but we get messages via Facebook on 4 different pages. We get messages through email, phone calls, direct message, text. So there's probably a good 10 different ways people are trying to reach us.
Right.
So we don't always get them. Instagram.
Yeah.
So sometimes we miss them. So we apologize.
So as some people say, charge it to our head, not to our heart. Definitely, if you needed reach out to us, please shoot me an email to jed@shrineofmaat.org, and I promise we'll get to you as soon as we can. By the way, if it's urgent, let us know that in the email. Talk to us about what you need to connect with. If you're just trying to connect to the shrine, wonderful. But if there's something specific you need, tell us that so that we're able to help. Definitely. Okay. I think that we've given all the shout outs that shout outs can be given, right? I mean, that's a lot of shout outs. And it's wonderful to speak to you all. We're honored that you're here with us. I must say to you that managing.
Kwanda Smith too.
I'm sorry.
Shout out to Kwanda Smith. I know she was on the first broadcast.
Anka Ma'at. Sinet Kwanda, it's good to hear from you. I think you and Anika are talking quite a bit. Haven't seen you since our long journey, but it's wonderful to hear that you're there and still moving. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Anka Ma'at to you. It's good to know that you're there. I'm not, listen, when you travel with someone for 20 days, there's all kinds of other stuff you want to say. I just realized it's not, I'm talking to everybody. I can't just say that kind of stuff. Anyway, it's good to hear that you're there. We miss you. Okay. So we need a secretary. Yes, we do need a secretary. But you know what a secretary means?
Income.
We don't
have the money to pay.
We do need a secretary. We need someone that is a secretary to the Intefi that will assist and communicate back and forth with us. It's very true. But we want to be able to honor that person with an email. There are thousands of people trying to reach the shrine like me. I sent an email to you posted, but no response. I apologize if you didn't. Oh, Kawanda's coming to Atlanta. Wonderful. Anka Ma'at. I'm also seeing that you said that you never got a response. Kale Sarah. Yeah, Kale Sarah. I'm sorry that you didn't get a response. We will try to reach out to you better. But send an email to jed@shrineofmaat.org. Tell us that you were looking to speak to us and we spoke on Kemetic Ascension, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah,
we will.
Be specific in terms of what you need. Again,
right.
Mention, please don't just say this is my number, call me, because we don't have the personal.
No, because we don't even know what to call you about. So sometimes it's helpful for you to tell us what you're looking for. If you're looking to know more about the tradition, that's wonderful. We'll connect you to people and to us. But sometimes when people say, I've been part of I've been studying Kemet for a long time, Dwa, there's not really something to respond to. And if you need us for something, definitely let us know, okay? If you need us for something, please let us know. Tell us what it is so we're able to help you. And I see that, did we mention Erwin's coming from the beautiful island of Curacao?
I want to be there.
Wow. Yes. All of the people that I know that have been there talk about how beautiful it is. Anka Ma'at to you. It's good to know that we are reaching the Caribbean. Absolutely. So as we begin, please, and I see G. Anu Spring says that she just sent the email. Wonderful. Yeah, I do. I got your email. I got it. Good. Okay. Asking, and I'll just say she's asking for the English translation of the opening of the way.
Oh, that's actually on.
That's on the page.
On our. Okay, I'll just send you a link so you'll have.
Yeah. We'll put it out there so that you're able to do it. Absolutely. Yeah.
And send William Humphrey is in the house.
Anka Ma'at to send William Humphrey. We were just talking about you. Were your ears burning? That's what my mother used to say. If your ears are burning, it means that somebody's talking about you. We were just talking about you. Have you considered crowdfunding project for a communication staff person? No, because usually when you do crowdfunding, it's for a one-time kind of thing.
Yeah.
And a communication staff person would be someone who would be kind of
payroll.
Yeah, so that's the challenge. We do not have a payroll, you should know. When you see Anika and myself do this, we do this because it was the charge given to us by our elder, not because we get paid for it. Some people who don't like what we do say that we're making all this money. I really wish you understood what it's like.
Zero.
We appreciate your donations, but they go directly to the things that the shrine do. We do not the money that we get from the shrine does not support our lives. It doesn't pay for our mortgage. It doesn't pay for utilities. It doesn't pay for any of that. Occasionally, it may assist with the internet connection because that's what we use, but that's pretty much it. Sometimes it assists us with products. We're so happy that we were able to get a new laptop. And that was through your donations. Ankh and Ma'at and Dua to you for doing that. But that's it, you know.
We both have full-time jobs.
We both, well, I have kind of a job that's pieced together. I'm a consultant, so I don't work full-time, but not working full-time means I work more than 40 hours a week. Anika will tell you that I'm pretty much always working. And that's a challenge. We are not complaining. The Netedru have blessed us, the ancestors have guided us, and things have been good. But it does mean that we don't have the kind of financial base that we would like to. And so that's the kind of thing. When we do a crowdfunding, and we are talking about crowdfunding, when we're thinking of doing crowdfunding, we're probably going to do it to assist us in obtaining a building. So that's why we've kept the powder dry on that, because we have talked about crowdfunding. Trust me, the Wenwet, the priest of the Shrine of Ma'at, have been talking about it for a while. So we will be doing one, but that's so that we can get a larger space. Because this space, while we control it entirely, and that is amazing, we want to have a space that's large enough to actually have lots of people in it. Okay, let's do the opening of the way, because we've been talking extensively. Let's begin our forum today. Let me say I said I was going to talk about where you'll see us. Let me just say that on October 23rd, I'll be doing some things in Atlanta. I'll be doing a tour of the Carlos Museum. Those of you that are in Atlanta or in the Atlanta area, did you know that there are Kemetic artifacts at the Emory University Museum, the Carlos Museum? Most people don't know that. We're going to do a tour of that museum. And then a panel discussion for that amazing documentary, Hapi. And then the next weekend, yes, we're busy, we're going to be doing almost the same thing in Philadelphia. And we're going to be doing a tour of the Penn Museum, which is an amazing museum as well. And then a panel as part of Hapi, the documentary. So go to jabarielsaze.com. Is it on centerformaat.com as well? You'll see both of those. If you go to both of those places, you'll see those things. And I'm really hoping that so many of you that we've seen online, we will see in person. So we're doing a lot. We're doing a lot. Yeah, Kele, I don't know why I keep messing up that name. Kele, the shrine has impacts 1,000 people, and they want to keep in touch for different reasons. Community. Yeah, I have to say to you, we're not, it's not that we don't understand that we need a communications person. We've known that since possibly 2011.
Yeah. And it takes time to train the staff. Like
yeah.
Answer questions if they don't have answers.
So honestly, and I'm going to tell you that the Wenwet have helped greatly. One of the people that communicates with people regularly has to be Abut Sashat. She communicates with a lot of people outside of the Shrine of Ma'at on our behalf. But she's not a communications person, right? She has all sorts of other responsibilities. We need someone who is like the corresponding secretary, the secretary for the Shrine of Ma'at. And it's hard to do that. Now, I'm sure, Anika, if we put the call out to our members and we said we need someone to do that, there'd be someone that would do it. I'm positive. But here's the challenge. We know that the role is really intensive. And we don't think it's fair to ask them to do something for free like that. So, because it's going to be a lot, and we're going to demand a lot of them. And so we don't want to burn someone out and have someone feel rankled about it. So eventually we will have someone. Eventually we will have someone that will play that role. We're building our personnel. And I see Demetra Bryan is saying Atlanta. Say what? Yep, I'm going to be in Atlanta. I'm going to be in Atlanta, and I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Oh,
so Huh?
Me and my typos.
Oh, goodness.
I'm trying to
Ankh and Ma'at to Ronald Green. Ankh and Ma'at to Cleve Ford. Is wonderful to hear that you're there, that you're around. Ankh and Ma'at to you. Who else is there? Okay, let's move. Let's move. Let's move. Let's do the opening of the way. 12:44. We're still talking, and that's good. We need to talk to the folks that are part of the Shrine of Ma'at family, but we also have some things planned for today. So if you can stand and prepare for the opening of the way, and you should know that that means that you're going to be standing with your left foot slightly astride, your right foot back, both feet facing forward. You're going to put your palms up and extend them in front of you. This is the way that you can sense energy, that you can feel energy. And in fact, as our Kemetic ancestors would have said, how you can both give and receive energy. So you're going to put the left hand a bit further forward from the right hand. And as you do that, we want you to set your divine intention. Think about the energy that you are receiving and the energy that you are giving. You're seeing I'm shifting my ankh. I usually wear them. When Anika has her ankh in either hand, I usually switch it. You might have, some astute watchers might have noticed that. So this is known as the position of adoration. Please don't do this. Some people do this. Don't bend your wrists like that. Keep them, if they're bent, have them ever so slightly bent. Okay? And from here, you're going to take a deep breath and then chant the word of an everlasting divine life, Ankh.
Anetrak in Bedhet.
Anetrak in Bedhet.
Nuke in Bedhet.
Nuke in Bedhet. Anetrak Hapi.
Anetrak Hapi.
Nuke Hapi.
Nuke Hapi.
Twal Winter.
Twal Winter.
Turn to the right.
Anetrak Serket.
Anetrak Serket.
Nuke Serket.
Nuke Serket. Anetrak Kebsenuf.
Anetrak Kebsenuf.
Nuke Kebsenuf.
Nuke Kebsenuf.
Twal Winter.
Twal Winter. Anetrak Ast.
Anetrak Ast.
Nuke Ast.
Nuke Ast. Anetrak Amset.
Anetrak Amset.
Nuke Amset.
Nuke Amset.
Twal Winter.
Twal Winter. Anetrak Neat.
Anetrak Neat.
Nuke Neat.
Nuke Neat. Anetrak Dwamutef.
Anetrak Dwamutef.
Nuke Dwamutef.
Nuke Dwamutef.
Twal Winter.
Twal Winter. Anetrak Newt.
Anetrak Newt.
Nuke Newt.
Nuke Newt. Anetrak Geb.
Anetrak Geb.
Nuke Geb.
Nuke Geb.
Twal Winter.
Twal Winter.
Anetrak Shu.
Anetrak Shu.
Shu. Shu. Shu. Shu. Nuke Shu.
Anetrak Tefnut.
Anetrak Tefnut. 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 Nuke Tefnut. Twal Winter. Anetrak Paut in Teru. Nuke Paut in Teru. Anetrak and Boo in Teru. Nuke and Boo in Teru. Twal Winter. Twal Winter. Dwa, 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 dwa. Dwa. So we've done the opening of the way. We hope that you are doing the opening of the way regularly. We hope that you are beginning anything of importance with the opening of the way. That is what it's meant for. It is meant to remind you of just the stuff you're made of, how powerful you are, how eternal you are, how infinite you are, how magnificent you are, by reminding you that you are the divine, that you are the cardinal points. If you are struggling, one of the reasons why I believe that people struggle is because they don't recognize just how powerful they are. And so it's of critical importance for us to remember that we must recognize how ultimately nepherific we are. I don't know why I just made up that word, nepherific. I'm gonna use it though. How nepherific we are. Did you hear Nika say, like what? What is that? Nepherific. We have to remember how nepherific we are. That you are absolutely a divine, beautiful being. And so it is really one of those things that it would help us to recall when we are meeting our challenges, because you are up to them. You are up to them. So let us continue. At this part of our gathering, we go into what we call Hesi. What is Hesi? Hesi, Hesi is a song. It's recognizing the divine. It's galvanizing the divine force in harmony, in praise. In many ways, Hesi is the beginning of what people today call gospel. Did you think we only did that when we were in the Christian tradition? In actuality, you will see people doing it so much longer. In fact, if you stand at church, you'll see people doing this, right? Why are they doing this? Because for thousands of years, we would use this as the sign, as the symbol for the soul, for the Ka. And so they automatically feel this way because that's the way we described you having a spiritual experience. When your soul, when your spirit is filled up, people just stand like this. Well, you better know that's not Christian. You better know that we were doing that for thousands of years before anyone ever spoke the name Jesus, anyone ever spoke the name Yeshua, anyone ever talked about anybody mythological known as Moses. Thousands of years before that, we were doing that. And that's just what we see in writing. How we don't even have any idea how long we were doing that. And so I want you to recognize that when we go into Hesi, we are galvanizing divine spirit in harmony. And today we're going to be talking about the importance of the Kepper. So Anika decided that we should probably do the Hesi that comes to us from the Shrine of Ptah, right? Isn't it?
We created that.
Did we? Oh, okay. So it's not the Shrine of Ptah. Kepara, Aten-Ra, Amen-Ra. Right. Kepara, Aten-Ra, Amen-Ra. It's a very simple chant. It's the kind of chant that you can just go, you can be walking down the block and chanting that, right? It's the kind of chant you can do while you're walking to work, while you're walking the kids to school, while you're washing the dishes. It will actually allow you to remember that you are the power of the sun, that Ra is you. So let's do it. It usually goes, Anika.
Kepara, Aten-Ra, Amen-Ra. 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 Kepara, Amen-Ra, Aten-Ra. Kepara, Aten-Ra, Amen-Ra. Rising to the faces of the sun. Kepara, Aten-Ra, Amen-Ra. 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 Rising through the faces of the sun. Kepara, Aten-Ra, Amen-Ra. 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 Kepara, Aten-Ra, Aten-Ra, Amen-Ra. Amen-Ra, Aten-Ra, Amen-Ra. Kepara, Aten-Ra,
Amen Ra. Kepara, Aten Ra. 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 Amen Ra. This chant, very simply, of course, you can hear that when you do it with more than one person, you can even sing it. You can actually create the same chant as a refrain or as a chorus. You can even sing it in a round if you're doing it with a number of people. Recognize that this is one of the ways that you can remember the power that is inside of you, the power that is part of the divine power of Ra that is in you, that you are the sun, that you are the fundamental energy that put together, that drives, that maintains the universe. And of course, it means Kepara, that sun that comes out of the primordial mist, that comes out of the Henenet of its divine mother, Nut, and then goes into its most powerful form, the midday sun, the sun at its height, Aten Ra. And then there's Amen Ra, the old sun, the sun that has completed its work, that goes back into hiddenness. I want you to recognize that this is the way that your Kemetic ancestors viewed the journey of the human soul. And of course, there's an echo of it even in the Christian tradition. When someone makes their transition, when you look at that booklet that celebrates their life that you get at those funerals, it usually says the date of their birth is their sunrise and the date of their death is their sunset. You're not going to see that in the Bible. Where did they get it from? You have to recognize that there are echoes of the Kemetic tradition all throughout the Abrahamic traditions. And the problem with that is that people don't want to acknowledge it. So it is important that we do that. And can I say Ankin Ma'at to Garrick? Garrick Van is in the house. Ankin Ma'at. I see Nikki Love. Woonum. Nikki Love is in the house. It's wonderful to see you. The Chafers are here, by the way. Yay. We were talking about y'all and singing your praises, all the amazing things that you've been doing out in Ghana for as you professionally master some of the Hesi. We are thinking about how to let people hear so much of the stuff that you've done. It is beautiful. It is amazing. As we were saying, I think at last Kemetic Ascension, we played some for Baba Heru, and Baba Heru looked at Anika and said, "You've been holding out on me." He really enjoyed it. In fact, we were talking. He was no longer talking. He was just there tapping his foot and singing along. So we just said, you know what, let's be quiet and let him just have his moment. He really loved it. So we're going to talk about that really soon. Who else was there? Something else I was going to say. Oh, and Ankin Ma'at Sanet Abigail, who is a full member of the Shrine of Ma'at. Wonderful. I also see Stuart Hastings saying that he's going to be coming. He's going to work. He's going to finish watching later. Wonderful. That's one of the benefits of having this streamed. You can go back and look at it later, right? You don't have to look at it all at the time that it's live. But Ankin Ma'at for joining. Why, absolutely. Anika says, Hetepu Hena Mer. Hena is a word for and, right? With. So she's saying peace with love. So definitely that's a way that you can see the way that she is greeting you.
And Twa'u to Dion Liz for your donation. Much appreciated.
Didn't we just hear that Sen Dion, the young son of William Humphrey, of Sen William Humphrey, the full member of the Shrine of Ma'at, that he just got to the point where he was 18 years old. I can't even imagine that it's been that long. But Ankin Ma'at to you. We're so pleased that you are continuing to grow and to strive and to be the person that you're meant to be. So Ankin Ma'at to you as well. Now my clicker is trying not to agree with me. Let me go ahead and say that at this point of our gathering, we go into what we call a word from the Seba'it. And today what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about one of the symbols that is most important in the Kemetic tradition, a symbol that you've likely seen, a symbol that is important. I see you putting it on the screen, but it's not working up here, right? I don't know why it's not working up here. Oh, it's the presentation itself, huh? I want you to recognize that so often we see symbols in the Kemetic tradition, and they're certainly of importance. But what ends up happening is we just think of them as Kemetic symbols, and we don't necessarily give a lot of thought to why our ancestors created these symbols and what their deeper meaning is. And so I want us, instead of simply looking at the wisdom that we can find in the text, I want us to think about the wisdom in symbol, the wisdom in Kemetic symbol, because this topic is of critical importance. Look at this image. This image is known as the Kheper, or more appropriately, Kepara. And I want you to tell me all the things you know about this symbol, all the things you know about the Kheper, all the things you know about Kepara. I want you to even tell me, take a deep dive, family. I know you have been studying. I want you to even tell me, where does this particular image belong as we look at this? What is it? Talk to me about it. I want to hear where you come out on this particularly important topic. And as I do that, take a look at this. We love this one. I bought it to go on my desk to remind me, and it never stays on my desk. It ends up staying on in the shrine. That's what happens a lot when we get things that we enjoy, that we love. It was meant to go on my desk because it's brass. It's a brass Kepper. By the way, I think if I remember correctly, I was telling the group that we were with to hurry up and to get to the bus, and I saw this and I grabbed it. And Anika was saying to me, "How are you going to tell them to go to the bus and then you stop?" And I showed it to her and I put it in her hand. And she didn't say, "I don't know why you're putting it in my hand." She didn't say, "Go to the bus." She said, "How much is it?" Yeah. Because we hadn't seen a nice brass Kepper like this. It's really nice. So once she did that, we had to talk to the guy really quickly and say, "Look, we do not have a lot of time to negotiate. We just want this." And so it's a beautiful, heavy brass Kepper. And this is a Kepper. Well, that is a Kepara. Why? What is the distinction that Jabari is making? I'm seeing a few answers here. Sen William, the Jati of Phoenix, says rebirth. Yes, absolutely rebirth. Shah Dawan probably says resurrection, renewal. That's what it means to me. Good. Sen Gaston, Kemetic symbol of renewal and transformation. Yes. Sinette Ashert Monique says new beginnings, transformation. Piggyback Porter. Big Piggyback Porter says Kepper equals reincarnation. Abu says immortality, rebirth. St. Alexander, the wings. Yes, the wings. Why does this one have wings and that one not have wings? Does it mean something? Is there some importance to this? What is this symbol? What is this symbol? I want us to think about why our ancestors might have utilized this to describe such an important concept of transformation, of resurrection, of rebirth, of renewal, as coming into being, as Sen Garrick says. I even see Sinette B is in the house. What's up? What's up? Ankh and Ma'at to you. Haven't seen you in a while. We used to see people so regularly before the pandemic. Am I getting pandemic fatigue, Anika? Anyway, Sinette B, how are you? It's good to see you. She says, Hatep, do the work. Rolling stuff ain't easy. That's so funny that she says that. Rolling the, and I'm gonna just say what she said, the shit ain't easy. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. I see Sinette Olivia says, the first part of the journey of the sun. One of the meanings could be transformation. The ancestors gave name to Shen, Ka, and Nefer Kepra to remind me. Oh, that's your name? Shen, Ka, and Nefer Kepra. I don't know if I knew that that was your Kemetic name. I always call you Sinet Olivia. Why are you holding out on us? Come on now. Shen, Ka, and Nefer Kepra to remind me every day that I'm transforming, and the process is beautiful. Internal spirit of beautiful transformation. Definitely. This is powerful. Sinet Tanya says, I keep my initiate Kepper on my window ledge by my bed as a reminder. Many times I think a big beetle is. Ooh, yeah. Rising out of the dirt poop to recognize my divinity. Yes. So let's talk a little bit about this symbol and what it means. All of you have described the importance of this symbol. What I did not hear, however, is what is this particular image? I know it's a Kepara. Why is this one a Kepara and this one a Kepper? And I want you to tell me, you can see that you're looking at an actual item, an artifact in this image. Where is the artifact from? And let me ask you even more challenging question that perhaps I shouldn't ask. This is even more of a tip. Who did it belong to? Who did it belong to? Oh, I see some Sinet Tanya was saying, many times I think a big beetle is in my room, she said. Is that scary? That's the question. Anika, you were trying to
just look at what's on the screen.
Oh yeah. Now how do I say that name? Re kids? It says, I was driving down the road and got hit and hit in the head with a beetle that looks just like that. I'm so serious. I think my ancestors are upset with me. You know what? When you're hit by something like that, I don't know if the ancestors are upset with you. The ancestors were probably sending you symbols, images, messages long before, and you were not cognizant of them. And so they finally said, okay, we have to get even more demonstrative. Pow! Hit you in the head with a Kepper. That's probably what happened. Sometimes when we get messages that are that clear, it's not that they're upset with you, it's that they have been trying to communicate for a while and the volume is slowly turning up. Almost like the volume on your alarm clock. Remember how those alarm clocks would start really quiet and then get absolutely obnoxious? Well, you might be I don't even know if that's the absolutely obnoxious phase. Trust me, it could be worse. Imagine you eating your favorite meal and a Kepper sitting in the middle. That would be worse, would it not? So just count your blessings from the ancestors that you received that message and they didn't have to amp it up even further. So I'm seeing a lot more answers. Some folks are not answering all of my questions. That means I have more to explain. Okay, so let's go. Abu Seshat says the answers are saying Negro please in the Willona from Good Times voice. Yes, that's exactly what's happening. The ancestors are saying, look, man, we've been trying to talk to you and you are ignoring us. And so that's exactly what happened. So let's talk about this. First off, I want you to understand that this is a Kepara because you can see the sun between its front legs and on its head. This one does not have the sun image. That's why this is a Kepper, and that one is a Kepara, right? Something very simple. And you might also notice that this one has wings, and that's because it is moving the sun, generally considered to be moving the sun across the sky. And I also want to tell you that you'll notice that it is sitting on what looks like a bowl. Do you notice that in between the legs there are 3 strokes? 1, 2, 3. That's the symbol of plurality. This is actually a name. This one belongs to a king. His throne name was Neb, see the bowl? Keperu, because you see the strokes, that's the plural. Ra. Neb Keperu Ra. That was the king's name. Which king was this? His name was Neb Keperu Ra. Whose name is that? It's actually a name. Let's move. there we see who it belonged to. It belonged to Tunt Ankh Amen. That's who it belonged to. And so you're seeing his golden burial mask. The piece that you're seeing on the left actually also comes from his tomb. By the way, Neb Keperuma means something like the Lord of the emanations, of the transformations of Ra. That's kind of what that name means. Neb can be all or Lord. Maybe it actually meant that he is all of the transformations of Ra, all of the emanations of Ra. And so that is also the way that it can be translated. Take a look at this image. What are you seeing? I know you are seeing a lady bent over in what might be a very awkward position. I know that you are seeing stars on her body. I know you are seeing these red dots. I just sent this to a person who was not in the Kemetic tradition, who actually was saying to me that they were struggling with their future, thinking about not knowing which way to go. And I sent them this image, and they have no idea why I sent it to them. And that's cool. But I'm hoping that this person will continue to study and recognize what it means. Look at those red dots. What are they? Do you notice there's a red knot by this woman's mouth and a red dot by her hennenet? I see Michelle Mendez say Newt. I said Michelle Mendez for a purpose because her Kemetic name is Newt. And so I'm talking to Sinette Newt. Of course, she'd be the first person to answer that. Of course. And Sen Jehutimes says, the red dot is Ra. Yes, that is the sun traveling through the body of the Lady of the Heavens. And the reason why it's at her mouth is because according to our great mythological story, Newt, the Lady of the Heavens, swallowed the sun. It traveled through her body during the hours of the night, and she gave birth to it in the morning. And if you look closely, you will see that at her hennenet, you will see Kepara getting ready to make the journey, taking that wonderful image of the divine power of Ra through the sky, through the daytime sky. Now, sometimes I have heard that people who practice the Kemetic traditions are worshipers of the sun. I would not actually describe it like that. That's probably a simplistic description of what we are and who we are. But I will say that as important as the sun is that entity, that body, that heavenly body that actually allows all of the universe to exist, all of our solar system, let's say, to exist. I want you to recognize that even the sun has a mother. Even the sun has a mother. And this also could be seen as the importance of the divine feminine in the Kemetic tradition. You're not going to see that as clearly in the other traditions, right? You're not going to see that as clearly because the role of women in the Kemetic tradition is much clearer than it is in those traditions that have been in the control of the European. By the way, if you look closely, I think it's also interesting to me. I've always noticed this, but never really mentioned it. You notice right next to her vaginal area, her hennenet, you actually see those lines on her stomach. What is that supposed to be? What is that supposed to be? What are those lines on her stomach? Well, those of you who have given birth know that that is supposed to be, those are the stretch marks on her belly from giving birth. I know today we think stretch marks are ugly. I think we obviously think that with all of the probably billions of dollars spent on wonder bras, that sagging breasts are not attractive. Your Kemetic ancestors recognized the beauty in those things because this is a woman who had given nurturing. This is a woman who had given birth. This is a woman that actually allows our community, our people to continue to live. So one of the most important ladies in all the Kemetic traditions has stretch marks. Did you notice that? She has stretch marks. Did you notice that? I always think it's amazing. And I see some of you are answering. I see Sinet Fafanta and Sinet Newt answering. Notice it's just the sisters answering. We're the brothers. This is your story too, you know. I'm not just talking about divine women. Newt is in you as well. How come the brothers aren't answering? Take a look at this. As important as this symbol is, it has been completely misrepresented and maligned in the West. Why? Well, partially, I think, because what they are doing is they're actually showing their lack of knowledge of higher wisdom with regard to these symbols. And unfortunately, so many more people see these ridiculous renditions of the Kemetic tradition, and this is what they think of. You know, as much as I love and recognize a divine soul as of my father, he would see me with my ankh. And even up until almost his last days, he would say, you know, I can't help looking at that and thinking of the mummy. And I would just look at him, you know, and my mother would say, Winfred, stop doing that. That's disrespectful. And he would just make jokes. He'd say, ooh, the mummy, ooh. And I would just say, Dad, if you're going to do that, you can't hold my ankh. My father, I would say, if you're going to do that, you can't touch my ankh. Why did that happen? Because since he was a child, he had been seeing these depictions of the spookiness, the depictions of the ridiculousness of the Kemetic tradition. And that stuff gets stuck in our heads sometimes. So he's thinking of Boris Karloff. He's thinking of all those depictions. In fact, as we enter the holiday period, it's hard to even call it that. As we enter this period known as Halloween, I took a picture I was supposed to put on social media. I never did. I really have to do more on social media. As we get to that point, I want you to recognize the ridiculousness of what we are seeing. I want you to really think about how we're going to see spooky characters, and one of them is actually connected to someone's spiritual tradition. If you ask me, that is absolutely disrespectful, absolutely offensive, absolutely ridiculous. And so Anika and I were in Ithaca, New York. I think the other picture you must have taken with your phone, Anika.
Yeah, I'm trying to send it to you now.
Yeah, well, maybe you could just put it up so they can see what I'm referring to. Because I'm sending you this one right now. Actually, these three pictures. We were walking in Ithaca. We actually went to the Apple Harvest Festival in Ithaca, New York. We like Ithaca. It's part of, I guess, in many ways, it's part of our tradition. It's part of, we met there, and so that's one way to look at it. We were supposed to be going to Ithaca because of something that was going on there, and believe it or not, we actually were walking around at this festival. The event that we were going there for was canceled due to COVID, as so many things are. I walked past a jewelry store called Schoolies. And as I went to Schoolies, what did I see? Of course, they're trying to get into the spirit of the season, and they were doing something that was really, really ridiculous. They have little ghosts and everything. By the way, why are ghosts spooky? If ghosts are supposed to be those people who made their transition, and that you have people that you love that have made their transition, why is it that people would be uncomfortable with people that they love? You have to understand that one of the ridiculous things about Halloween that we need to recognize that the Western people, those people who are the youngest people on the planet, did, is they were at one point saying that they were going to wear costumes and decorate their homes, disguise their homes, because on this particular day, the day before All Saints' Day in the Christian calendar, this was supposed to be the day that the ancestral realm and the physical realm were closest together. And so some people who had actually made their transition could actually pierce the veil and return to the physical realm on that day. And so people who were disguising their homes and themselves, were trying to hide from those people. Because if grandpa finds himself back on the spiritual, in the physical world after his death, what's the first thing he's going to do? He's going to go home. And so there were some individuals in the West who said, oh, we don't want those scary dead people to come home. Let's disguise stuff so they don't know how to get home. Family, can you tell that this is not an African tradition? Africans are calling on the ancestors all the time. In fact, the brothers on the corner last night. Now, I didn't see what they were doing, but I can tell you what they did, because I know that they were drinking alcohol on the corner last night. I saw them. I guarantee you they poured some out for the brothers who aren't here. They don't have to call themselves African to do things that are African. It's in our DNA. It's in our makeup. It's in our ancestral memory. We may not remember where we got it from. We may not remember what it's called, but I'm going to tell you that that's what we do. And so those brothers poured a little out for the brothers who are not here because they were speaking to their ancestors. We are constantly doing libations and calling on the ancestors. That's what the African does. So to actually see these things that are spooky during Halloween, they are really crazy. So we were standing in front of, and I see so many comments about this. They want us to connect to the force. It's called strategic marking strategy. That's right. I see my brother dressed up as a pharaoh last year and told everybody from this is what a real pharaoh probably looked like. Interesting. Sinette Newt says, I dislike Halloween and stopped celebrating it years ago. Yeah. Sen Gaston says, according to the Eurasians, everything that is spiritual from Africa is spooky or evil. Shaking my head. That's right. Shake it heavy, shake it hard, because I'm shaking it with you. Yeah, and I see the image on, can you make it larger? I see the image on the screen. I said, Anika, take the picture of me here. Because they're trying to get into the season. And so they have these little ghost figures, but can you look closely at what's in the middle? You're seeing image of a quote unquote mummy. How could something that comes out of someone's spiritual tradition be used and made fun of during one of the holidays here in the West? How is that? How is it that they could just continue to do that and no one speaks about it? No one speaks to it. How is that? Well, look, if you're trying to talk about someone coming back from the dead, this Halloween, Jabari's going to dress up as Jesus, the ghostly Christ. And I'm going to put little blood marks in my hand. I'm going to go around saying, ooh, where's my cross? I'm back. I'm going to start touching people with the macliata stigmata, the holes in my hand, and say, look, this bloody hole in my hand, I'm gonna make you dead and resurrect you. You know what? I would not do that. You know why? Because that would just be disrespectful to people's spiritual traditions. Why is this okay? Why is it okay? You know why? Because they don't think anyone speaks for ancient Africa. They don't think anyone speaks to those traditions. They think they have vanquished. They think that they have destroyed. They think that they have erased. They think that they have absolutely extinguished the light of ancient Africa. Well, I am here to say that they have not. And so they cannot continue to do that without saying anything. Same way that they disrespect voodoo all the time. That's right. That's right, DZ Onk. You're absolutely correct. We have to stop allowing them to do that. I'm going to be Muhammad too. Listen, listen, we have to stop allowing them to continue to say negative things about our traditions. When we say things about theirs, they think it's disrespectful and inappropriate. You get canceled real quick, but they can do whatever they want. So look here at the depiction of the Kheper in the movie, The Mummy. Take a look at this Kheper here. I want you to see how they thought they were going to render the Kheper, and how they even show you the villain of the movie that they had the nerve to name Imhotep. Look at how they actually tried to destroy the evil villain Imhotep in the movie. You all right?
After I showed you a picture, it took me off.
Oh, sorry. So I just want you to recognize that what I'm about to show you is a clip from the movie Mummy. I am going to try my best as I do it. We're not going to use sound, so you're not going to hear anything. And I'm hoping that by not using sound, we'll still be able to post it on YouTube and Facebook. Certainly, they should allow us to do it because we are critiquing it. And that is underneath the fair use guidelines. But you should know that YouTube and Facebook continually take these sorts of things down, and they shouldn't. So take a look at this scene from The Mummy, and I'll talk to it. As you can see, this is Imhotep, who was supposed to be evil, and the Egyptians were trying to get rid of him. I say Egyptians intentionally here. And they wrap him up as a mummy against his will because they are dealing with him being evil. And then this person with the Anpu mask comes over with this vessel and pours what on him to get rid of him, to extinguish him, to destroy him? What have to be hundreds of Kheper. Then they close him in his casket and lock it. This is the way that we continually see them make fun of someone's spiritual tradition, make fun of the traditions of ancient Africa. And then they bury him. Of course, he's the villain of the series, and he actually comes back. By the way, when I see them digging the sand with these shovels that have holes in them, I'm like, what is that? Why do the shovels have holes in them? Ridiculous. And then later we see Brendan Fraser, the main hero in the movie, digging, trying to find something in an ancient tomb with his colleagues. And the one guy who was almost like the comic relief of the film actually notices several Kepper in the wall here. And as he grabs it, he actually looks at it and will say, hey guys, look at this, what I found. And then the Kepper comes to life and look at what it does to him. With this kind of creepy stuff, why would anyone want to actually be part of the Kemetic tradition? Why would anyone want to actually think that this is something that they should practice, that is sacred? This is the challenge that we have. That's the symbol of the Kepper in their estimation, something that is freaky or spooky. I'm going to say to you that they continually use the Kepper, this Kemetic symbol, as inspiration. Has anyone ever seen these cars? It was called the Stout Scarab. You don't have that image?
Yeah, I know you're going there.
Oh, it's called the Stout Scarab. The vehicle manufacturer is known as the Stout. And so this car was supposed to look like the Kepper. Of course, the Greeks called that symbol, the symbol of the Kepper, the scarab. The scarab. In fact, the genus and species today in modern science is still known as Scarabaeus sacer. Scarabaeus sacer is the name of the quote unquote beetle that we knew as the Kepper. Look at this vehicle. By the way, even though they call it the Scarab, I think it looks kind of funky. I would actually drive that. But anyway, look at it. And it actually has Kepara, Kepper with wings on its front. This is from the 1930s. It was popular in the 1930s. This is something that I think folks don't recognize as well. In early Christianity, continuing to demonstrate the influence of these African traditions in the Western world. Early Christians referred to Jesus as the scarab. Did you know that? Did you know that they were saying that the symbol of the Kepper is a symbol of renewal, transformation, and resurrection? So they called him the scarab. When you look at all of these signs and symbols, it is clear that the Christian tradition is a Western echo of the African traditions. The very, very well-known early Christian father, who was the Archbishop of Milan in Italy, actually, his name was Saint Ambrose, by the way. He actually said that Jesus is the good Scarabaeus. And Saint Epiphanius said he is the Scarabaeus of God. You should know that these are the ways that they are telling you they recognize their earlier traditions, And they're saying that their story is a retelling of those traditions. And you should know that early Christian crosses have been inscribed with the Kepper. This is how we see the tradition actually influencing the later traditions. And they seek to actually erase it. They seek to erase it, even though we know that this is where they got it from. So let's talk a bit about the animal itself, the insect itself. Take a look at this Kepper looking at the camera, sitting on what almost looks like a perfectly molded ball of dung. I think that as we look at the actual animal, we have to ask ourselves, why did our Kemetic ancestors, our ancient African ancestors, seek to use the image of an animal that spends all of its time in dung? By the way, we say dung because we're uncomfortable with what it really is. Nobody calls that stuff dung. We call it doo-doo. Anika laughs because she knows I often use the word doo-doo. Why? Because I want you to be uncomfortable with it. I'll talk more about that in a second. But as you look at it, you can see that this is an animal that spends all of its day in filth. Why does this become one of the chief sacred symbols of ancient Kemet? Let's look a little bit more at this particular animal. Take a look at this video of it rolling. So you see it's facing in one direction, and it begins to roll the dung beetle, the dung ball. Come on, let's go. I don't think I have to click it. I think it's just going to play.
I just tried to click it. It's not moving.
Taking a little longer than I expected it to.
It's not moving.
Huh. Well, no, it looks like it is going to play when you click it. Oh, cannot play media. Okay, it's in the folder. Do you want to play it right from the folder, Anika, so I can see it? It's in the same folder the presentation's in. Okay, great. So you can actually see that the beetle, notice that its head is behind it. It's rolling it with its bottom legs. Can you play that one more time? It's rolling from its bottom legs. Take a look at this. So actually its head, its eyes face where it's come from, not where it's going to. I think that in many ways, the Kepper is also a Sankofa symbol. That in order to go forward, you must look backward. That's part of, I think, what our ancestors were saying here that I find extremely fascinating. So what else do we know about this bird, this animal? I want you to recognize that we now know, this is a study that came forward in the journal Current Biology in 2013. This is recent. We now know that there are nights when the moon cannot be seen in the sky. Why? Because maybe it's cloudy. So how do the Kepper beetles roll their ball in the direction that it needs to be rolled in? How do they do it? We now know that they use the Milky Way for orientation. They actually navigate using the stars. Is it not appropriate that we see our ancestors show the beetle, the Kepper, in the heavens? They actually use the stars. They circumnavigate. Absolutely interesting that they're able to use the stars. Sometimes you actually see these beetles stop and look and move around in order to know what direction they're moving in. They actually navigate using the moon, using the stars, using the heavens. Powerful. Powerful. I want you to understand how fascinating this insect is. Scientists have finally figured out how dung beetles have used celestial navigation to return home. This study is in Science, the Science Alert, and it actually was released in 2016. Absolutely fascinating. I want you to recognize a few things about the insect, the beetle, before we move on. So now we know that what the Kepper does is it actually stays in areas where there are usually other animals pooping everywhere, and it takes the poop together. It often puts its eggs in the poop, its eggs, That means it's offspring in the poop. It's future offspring. It rolls the beetle the ball into a very spherical mass, and then it moves that ball along the way, keeping it warm, keeping it protected, and it takes it to the place where it's going to give birth. Very fascinating. So it serves several different purposes. Not only does the ball of dung protect its future, but in addition to that, just think for a moment how poisoned our environment would be if all of these animals, the cows, the other cattle, actually were just leaving poop everywhere and it just stayed where it was. In actuality, these animals are the purifiers of the earth. They aerate the soil. Often they dig below and put their dung balls, their doo-doo balls into the earth. So they aerate and they fertilize. They remove all of the doo-doo from the area. They have an important role. And as they roll, I'm using the other meaning of the word roll, they look behind them as they move with their back legs, navigating from the sun. So, did you notice something else about this? So this insect actually moves the ball of dung, right? Well, our ancestors didn't show this in its sacred symbolism as a ball of doo-doo. They showed it as the sun. Well, as I said before, we've been known as the sun worshipers, right? So how do they equate a ball of doo-doo with the sun, the symbol of the power of the universe? I want you to recognize that your ancestors were saying something. Here's the practical explanation of what they were saying. What happened?
Facebook is on because the video.
Oh yeah, they cut us off? Oh boy. And YouTube?
No, we're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube. Can you put Facebook back up?
Can't do it now.
No? Can you leave a message for the folks that they cut us? Mm-hmm. You know, it's so frustrating that they do that. And that's really because they don't want us to use anyone else's work. But the reality is it is protected under fair use. And I don't understand why they do that. It's really annoying that they do it. Anyway, as you look at this, you can see that your ancestors actually are using the symbol of the sun as the ball of doo-doo. Why? If the sun is so important to us, why have they equated it with doo-doo? And why is this insect the symbol of transformation? Well, I want you to recognize that the insect puts its future inside of that ball of dung, its eggs. Symbolically, follow me here for a second. I think the ancestors are saying that you must understand your past. Remember, this is an animal, an insect that looks backwards as it rolls forward. You must understand your past and deal with your doo-doo, the ball of dung. Deal with your shit. And that is where you're going to have your greatest transformation. And that's why they didn't show you a ball of dung, they show you the sun. Because they looked very carefully at how these incredible animals and insects work. And I want you to recognize that what they are doing is they were actually showing you how. It still says I'm live here on Facebook. No, it's not. I'm not live.
Just one person is up.
Oh, really? We can remove it and put it back maybe. Anyway, I want you to recognize that what we're actually seeing is we're actually seeing that your ancestors are telling you something about how you can become the shining being, how you can reach your higher self, how you can be the person you must be, that you must deal with your doo-doo. You must deal with those things that have hurt you. You must deal with those things, those accretions of your challenges. You must deal with all of those things that you struggled with. You must deal with those things that are painful. By the way, so many of us pretend that it's not there, but everyone around you can smell it. Everyone around you knows that you're dealing with these things. You have to deal with your doo-doo in order to become the person you're supposed to be. That is what the symbol of the Kepper is. This is a divine, sacred, magnificent symbol that gives us a meditation on how to be. The Kemetic tradition is not just about knowing information. The Kemetic tradition is about applying information. That's the reason why those people in the Kemetic tradition should be rightly called practitioners of the Kemetic tradition. You must be doing something. That is how you will be who you must be. That is how you will be who you must be. And this is of critical importance. I truly hope you recognize the power of this. I truly hope that you recognize yeah, I'm seeing that Facebook is saying the post has been removed. That can happen. So can you let them know to come to YouTube? Okay. And we'll post what we can on Facebook later. Our ancestors are trying to give us a meditation on how you become the person you're supposed to be. What I was saying is that often people think that being a person of the Kemetic tradition is knowing lots of information. And of course, you need to know information about what your ancestors did in order for you to emulate them. But in actuality, the most important thing you can do is you can actually follow their wisdom on how to practice. That is what they expected you to do. That is how they are trying to talk to us about how we must become the people that we must become. And so I want you to recognize that your ancestors are actually telling us something in their use of the Kepper. That your ancestors are attempting to mold you into something else, to become who you must be, to actually follow the story that they have put you on the earth to tell, to play out, to enact. And that is why the Kepper is a symbol that must remain in our meditation. The Kepper is the symbol that must remain in our understanding of what we must do to become who we must be. In our initiation, we go through what we call the Kepper process, where we try to clarify those things that we must work on. I'm saying to you, beloved, in order for you to actually be the person that you are meant to be, you have to deal with those challenges that you faced. You have to deal with those things that are not great about you. And so I'm hoping that today, as we look at the wisdom and symbol, the symbol of the Kepper, you will focus on being the person you must be by dealing with the things that have happened to you, by dealing with the challenges, the behaviors that you've retained that are preventing you from being who you have to be. It is in this work that we will actually do the work that our ancestors. And I'm hoping that this discussion will motivate you in continuing along that journey. Anken Ma'at, Shem Matep, and I say to you, the divine force in me greets the divine force in you. Dua for partaking in the wisdom of the Sevayi today. Let us begin our final affirmation and close our forum today. We're going to have you begin by standing in the position of adoration. And hopefully what you'll do is you will absolutely be able to, what's going on? You'll absolutely be able to be part of, you'll focus on what we're doing.
You realize I have a lot going on in the background trying to do tech and responding to comments. I just want to mention to all of you, we're still on Facebook. We're sorry that you're not able to make comments there due to the fact that we used the Mummy movie images. They took off the option for the comments. They took off the Mummy clips. So you're still on apparently it's through broadcasting, but you can't comment. So some of it I noticed had to switch over to YouTube. So I just want to let you know it wasn't anything on our end other than us showing it, but we do have public rights to comment on public videos.
It's called fair use.
Fair use.
Yeah, we're critiquing it. We're critiquing it.
Unfortunately, Facebook has decided to take that down.
Yeah.
We don't have any control over that. But at this point, we'd like to, again, a few announcements before we go into our last affirmation. If you weren't on earlier, just so you know, Jabari will be traveling to a couple of cities coming up in the next few weeks. He will be in Atlanta doing a tour of the Carlos Museum on Saturday, October 23rd.
At 2:30, please join us.
If you're interested, please sign up. You can go on his webpage, jabariosaze.com, or you can go to the center page, centerformaat.com. He will also be in Philadelphia the following week, which will be October 30th, also at 2:30, doing a tour of the Penn Museum. And for each of the tours, he will also be doing lectures with Hapi. So please.
In the evening.
In the evening.
Yeah.
So please, if you're interested, again, go to centerformaat.com or to jabariosaze.com to sign up. We'd like for you to sign up in advance so we know how many people will be in attendance for each of those tours. So again, Atlanta and Philly in the next few weeks. And I know that his plans are to also go to Vegas and a few other places. We will be in Ghana again by the close to the end of this year. So there's a lot of travel in store, and we hope to be able to see as many people as possible.
Sure. I should also announce that I'm doing my African American history course beginning October 28th.
Yes.
Please sign up. You'll see that on the website as well.
Yes. Definitely.
Yes.
So Twa'u for all of you. And also Twa'u to Trinity for your donation. I saw that you made a donation to us through Cash App, so we appreciate you. And all of you who have made donations to the shrine. It's very helpful for us to be able to continue moving forward with the work. So we are in the pose of adoration. And today I would like to offer you the affirmation known as Rupu. So please repeat after me in the divine language of our ancestors known as the Mtu Inter or the Medinetta. Rupu Nuku. Amiku. Kemam. Keperu. And Unter. Hayu. I am that I am. A shining being. Dwelling in the light. Of the Most High. Twa'u Inter. Thank you to the divine. And thank you to all of you.
Twa'u. Thank you so much for being part of Kemetic Ascension once more for October 10th, 2021. We will see you shortly. Ankh and Ma'at, Shem and Ma'at, go forth in peace. Peace.